Hello. Today I wanted to do a review of the CALIRINGs because I haven't seen any videos on YouTube regarding the CALIRINGs except for a few clips on their own YouTube channel and also some videos on CreativeTrainingTweaks channel where he outlines some creative ways that you can use these in training. First of all, this video is not sponsored or paid for by CALIRING. I bought these with my own money. I actually DM'd the founder of the company and asked him if he could ship to where I was because on their website they only ship to Germany. What the CALIRINGs is, it's a German startup where they're trying to create an innovative fitness solution for people that are into calisthenics or people that have limited access to equipment. What it does, it combines the classic gymnastic ring with the parallette. So you can do both hanging exercises like you can do with rings and also floor exercises using the parallettes. But the cool thing about these is that the combination of the parallette and the gymnastic ring lets you do some stuff that you can't do without these. I'll outline that in the next sections. Also, they're doing a Kickstarter for this right now, and I will put a link of it either anywhere on the video or in the description. So you should definitely check them out and support them if you can, if you think that you'll find this useful in your training. Spoiler alert, I recommend getting a pair because this is definitely one of the better things I bought for my home gym. So diving straight into the properties, they are made of wood. I believe it's beech wood actually. Very good quality, very sturdy. Smells great. All the benefits of regular wooden rings that you might be used to, but something to point out, they're quite thick. Actually, let me grab my spare rings. I believe they're 32 millimeters compared to 28 for the thinner rings. They have great grip, feels substantial in the hand. I found that it's easier to do dips and push-ups and even stuff like rows and pull-ups. Having a thicker ring in your hand, I think it allows you to get your fingers around the ring and like have more contact area. So it's not necessarily harder to hold on to. So also something when I was looking at these online was that the parallette and the ring are not one piece. They're not constructed together. Rather, the parallette is glued onto the ring. But I don't think that's a problem. Actually, I was DMing back and forth with the founder, and I believe he did some tests where the parallette handle itself could hold on to about 750 kilograms or something before breaking. So the adhesive is very strong, and that lets you do some cool things with the ring that I'm going to talk about. The other thing that you might notice about these rings, besides the obvious parallette and the ring combined, is that they have a very unique buckle that you can't get with any other rings. The buckle lets you disconnect the ring and reconnect it very quickly, which is a huge plus, because what that lets you do is basically if you're doing pull-ups with the ring, you can just take them off, put them on the floor and start doing push-ups or handstand push-ups, whatever. The strap also has the added benefit of not rubbing up against your arms when you're doing stuff like dips and push-ups, since it's attached at the top rather than going around the ring you would have with regular rings. So it doesn't irritate your skin when you're doing push-ups and dips. A huge benefit. Feels very good on your skin. Yeah, the buckle, the height adjustment is It's not like a regular ring where you have the buckle. I can't show you right now, it's out of reach. Where you have the buckle that you press and you pull the strap through it. Rather, you feed the strap through the connection, and it doesn't really make a huge difference in terms of adjustment. But it's pretty sturdy, it doesn't slip or anything. You can put a lot of weight on it. I believe also the newer models, they're working on a polymer version, which will be lighter and easier to carry. They have a different type of strap that has like a quick adjust feature. I don't exactly know how that works yet. Hopefully when I get my pair, I'll be able to review that also. Anything else I want to mention about the straps? Not really. So obviously you can use the CALIRING as gymnastic rings, doing dips, pull-ups, push-ups, all the movements we love. But you can also use the parallettes for anything you can do with parallettes, really, like L-sits, push-ups, handstand push-ups, you know, planche if you're into that. But also, something very cool about the CALIRING is not only can you hold it like this and like this, you can also flip it around, put this surface on the floor, hold it like this, and use it as a balancing device, which is very challenging for your core, and you can really get creative with it. Superset it with some core movements, maybe have fun with it. At the same time, very interesting, you can also use this as a squat wedge. So put it on the floor like this, put your heel on here or on here like this, and this would be a 10-degree incline, and this would be a 40-degree incline. I've tried this with bodyweight squats, pistol squats. It feels very comfortable. Really like shifts the movement to emphasize your quads instead of your hamstrings. I will say though, it's not as comfortable as a dedicated squat wedge, so keep that in mind if you're planning to use it for that. Another thing I want to mention, the rings being this unique shape lets you do some interesting things. You can obviously hold it like a regular ring or like you're doing a dip or push-up in the inside. You can do a false grip like you can do with regular rings, but also you can hold it by the parallette when it's up and hanging like this, which lets you get a straight grip on a gymnastic ring or a suspension trainer. You can't really do that with regular rings. You can also push them together like this, or maybe set the anchor points really close, which would let you do like a mimic of a neutral grip, fat grip pull-up. So very interesting. Also, I've tried holding them like from the inside of the ring, grabbing the parallette. It's pretty comfortable. I'm not sure exactly how it changes the movements yet, but maybe I'll do another video on that once I figure it out. For now, I did rows holding them like this, and one thing I can mention is it lets you, or it challenges you in a different way where you have to pull the rings apart. So you can't really hold them very close to your body. It makes the movement a little bit harder, in my opinion. Oh, something I forgot to mention about the strap is actually made out of a very thick and soft seatbelt material instead of the thin nylon that you might be used to with regular rings. The benefit of that is that it's very comfortable on your skin if it does rub on your skin, but also the thicker strap actually has more friction between the anchor point and the strap itself, so it doesn't slide side to side as easy. So the pros and cons, I think it's worth diving into. So obviously you get all the benefits of regular rings. You can do harder variations of pull-ups, push-ups, planches, any type of ring skill that you might want to do, which are obviously great for hypertrophy and strength training. Self-limiting variations of dips and push-ups, just very joint friendly. But also you get the parallettes, which lets you do the grounded versions of pushing movements and some core movements. Obviously, you can use the balancing aspect I mentioned. They're very versatile. Like normal rings are versatile, but the CALIRINGs are even more versatile for the reasons I mentioned. You can use them for a lot of exercises. The parallette handles are very thick and comfortable. I have a pair of cheap parallettes that have like an inch thick bar. It's not very comfortable at all. It's hard to hold onto it. It really digs into your hand when you're doing push-ups or any type of movement, which gets uncomfortable and it can take away from your strength potential. Whereas the parallettes on the CALIRINGs, they're very thick. I'm not exactly sure what the diameter is, but I haven't noticed any issues with it digging into my hand. It just feels like you're almost doing floor push-ups, but obviously it's easier on the wrist since it's in a neutral position. Oh yeah, the parallettes are also angled. I'm not sure if you can see that on video. I believe it's a 7-degree decline, which puts your wrist in an even better position for ground movements. There's probably some unique ways to use that too. That lets you also change the angle of your squat wedge if you choose to use it that way. I've noticed in my own training, I've had these for about 2 weeks now. The quick disconnect handle, or the the quick disconnect buckle is very useful. You can go from doing ring push-ups to floor push-ups like in a matter of seconds. Or you can do some superset that I have in my program is I do ring curls and then I do tricep push-ups with the rings on the ground, because regular tricep push-ups hurt my wrists, and that makes for a good superset for the arms. So obviously the disconnect buckle is very useful for switching between exercises. Yeah, so also they do this cool thing where they let you do customization on the rings. I got a symbol that I designed on here, engraved with a laser, and it's not, obviously doesn't affect the functionality of the CALIRING, but it does make them feel a little bit more personal. It just makes you enjoy training with them a little bit more, motivates you. So that's a nice touch by the team, I would say. Obviously they're amazing for a minimalist home gym or someone that might be traveling very often. It lets you do a lot of exercises with just one device. So very useful for that. I would say if I had a pull-up bar in my home gym and I didn't have any bars or weights, this could be the first piece of equipment I consider getting, because they're actually cheaper to buy. Even though they're a little bit expensive, which I'll get into, they're cheaper to buy than Parallettes and gymnastic rings separately, in my experience. I've actually done some research online, and it seems that way for me, which, even though I live in a relatively cheap country, buying the CALIRINGs is cheaper than buying Parallettes and rings combined. I imagine that situation is even harder in the US or Canada or Europe, where things are a little bit more expensive. Yeah, I mentioned it's beechwood. They outline on their website it's made from reforested trees, which is always good, you know, good for the environment. They're great materials, they'll last a long time. I bet if you take care of them, like oil them once every few months, you know, sand it down when it gets some damage, they'll last you a lifetime basically. I'm also confident that the buckle will last a long time because it's just stainless steel. Nothing to worry about there, in my opinion. And on their website they actually say that you should contact them if you manage to break this thing. They'll try to repair it instead of like making you get a new pair. Okay, so the cons, also worth mentioning. They are portable, but they are not as portable as conventional rings, in that they do weigh a significant amount, because I believe it's the access wood and the stainless parts inside the buckle. And the buckle itself is not very light either. So they are mobile, you can travel with them for sure, but you'll have to make some dedicated space for them. All that being said, they are likely lighter than carrying rings and Parallettes separately. So keep that in mind. If you're big into calisthenics, it's probably smart to just have these instead of two different devices. They do, as I mentioned, they do have an Air model that they're planning on releasing after the Kickstarter campaign, which is made out of a polymer material. Apparently it'll be easier to transport because it's obviously lighter and apparently more impact resistant. Yeah, there's something about the Parallette handles, I kind of got into this. They're great for pushing exercises on the floor, where you're just holding on to the Parallette, but they are harder to use for hanging exercises. They're almost like a fat grip, if you know what that is. It's hard to hold on to, like I can almost just get my hand around it. So harder to hold on to, but maybe you're into that. It's not a huge deal, just worth mentioning. So I also mentioned this throughout the video, maybe a couple times. They're not very cheap, which I would say is the biggest problem for most users. Compared to conventional rings, they're very expensive, obviously. You can get a pair of rings in Europe or Canada about 20-30 bucks, maybe 50 for an expensive pair. I got these for about 150 euros plus some shipping, but the founder actually helped me out with the shipping, so big thanks to him for that. And also they're more expensive because they are handmade. The founder actually, I believe he makes them one by one for order, made to order. Also made in Germany, not outsourced to some country like China or Vietnam. You know, they do free customization, which is pretty nice. Just adds value to the ring, in my opinion. They are expensive, but they are cheaper than buying rings and Parallettes, like I mentioned. Anything else about the price? They do offer repairs, which maybe in the long run might make them cheaper than regular rings, although I've had these rings ever since the events in 2019, 2020, and I haven't had no problems with them. The rings are very hard to. They do have some good deals available on Kickstarter, so definitely make sure to check them out if you're interested in buying a pair. They have some early bird discounts that can get you some good deals on CALIRINGs. So having talked about all the pros and cons and stuff that you can do with the CALIRINGs, hopefully I remember to put some footage of me using the CALIRINGs so you can get an idea. In conclusion, I believe in my 2 weeks experience, this is great value for what you get, especially if you don't have a pair of rings or Parallettes already, or if you don't have a full home gym like me. They're definitely worth checking out because for the price you pay, you get a lot of versatility. And as far as fitness products go, like all this new so-called inventions in the fitness world, they're basically all gimmicks. Whereas the CaliRing actually, it combines two things that already exist, but the combination lets you do some very cool, unique exercises that you can't do without them. And the exercises are not just like BS, they're actually they're good exercises, like the balancing exercise or, you know, unique grips. That can add a lot of variation in your training, so you're not bored. And especially, you should check out CreativeTrainingTweaks' channel because he has some like crazy ways that you can use the CaliRings, which I've yet to try those, but they look pretty awesome. Obviously, like I mentioned, if you don't have a full gym already, this is a great deal. For 150 euros, I don't think you can beat the value you get in these. So, anything else I want to mention? I don't believe so. So thank you for watching the video. I hope that if you're interested in buying the CaliRings, this video helped you out. In my opinion, they're worth checking out. So make sure if you're watching this video early, go check out their Kickstarter page, support them if you're interested in that. And hopefully they have a successful campaign and can get this thing to life. Thanks for watching.